Hi, I'm Nathan Hill.
And I'm Tritia DeViSha.
Hi Nathan and Trish, thank you so much for joining me here today. How many films have you guys done together?
It's a few.
Yeah, I think we've got Revenge of the Gweilo.
That's a
then The Debt Collector, which we were both in, but we're not technically in a scene
Different
together.
scenes.
Yeah. And Vampires Down Under, and then recently Lady Terror.
Yes.
Yes.
So 4 features.
Yes, 4 features. But we've also featured in quite a few Grindsploitation anthologies, some of our works on separate projects, but they're on the same anthologies. So there's a few of those, but maybe we won't sort of count those.
Couple of compilations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 6 plus. Plus we're affiliated to a lot of projects as well, you know, being local and knowing each other for a while. How long have we known each other? It must be years. It must be
it's been a
probably
while.
6 years. Six,
It's probably been longer than that because I think I met you when you were doing the pre-production on Revenge of the Gweilo.
maybe 7 years.
So it's been a while,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. I'll let you know when it's 10.
Okay. I'll be waiting for my present.
that. We'll celebrate that. Yeah, absolutely.
What's been your most challenging scene to do together?
I know what that is.
Really?
For me?
Really? I was
For
going
me?
to say, I didn't think there was very challenging scenes with you because,
Ooh, that's good.
yeah, I mean, working in film, you know, especially with big projects, you know, there's things that always can come up. So, yeah, I think most of the films I've done with you were actually quite smooth.
That's
so.
cool.
What
Good
was
to
your
hear.
one?
Oh, I was going to say challenging, probably more from a technical point of view, was when we did the I don't know how to put this, the tongue kiss in Gweilo, where I had to bite your tongue.
Okay.
And but then we had to replace her missing tongue with a piece of what I used, a piece of beef. So I had this piece of, like, after we cut, I had a piece of like beef in my mouth and I had to spit that out, and that was just a bit challenging.
Oh, you think that's the most challenging scene? Okay.
But that was fun. It was
That
fun,
was
but
really
it was
fun.
just challenging.
That was actually my favourite
end of
scene
it.
that we've ever shot together.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But the end of it, when I had to put the beef in my mouth and spit out that fake tongue, that was like,
Oh,
ugh.
okay. Well, I didn't taste the beef, so I guess that wasn't challenging for me.
Okay, well, what was the easiest scene to shoot then?
Oh gosh.
Well, I wouldn't say easiest, but I would have said that was the most fun scene to shoot.
It was. Yeah, the torture chamber.
Yeah,
was the most
definitely,
fun.
definitely. So
Yeah. Easiest, probably one of the.
probably
just
something from Lady
something-
Terror
yeah,
or
something
something
sort
like
of-
vampires, because it's very
Yeah.
simple. It's just a couple of people, one location, bang, bang, bang. It's all done. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I thought that the torture scene was definitely my favourite to shoot.
High moment. Oh yeah, Gweilo
Yes,
is definitely
yeah.
our high moment,
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, there would have been just those lot of sort of normal shots in Lady Terror that were a bit pedestrian that would have been easy, coming
they're
and
super
going
easy
or
because-
whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been stereotyped as an actor?
I think I stereotyped myself.
Yeah,
oh God.
Steven Seagal.
The Melbourne Bruce Willis is
Oh,
what they've
okay,
been
yeah,
calling me.
cool.
It's crazy.
Nice.
I think stereotyped. I mean, for me personally, you know, I kind of am like most young guys coming out of the gates wanting to do action, you know, and then realizing, you know, who you are, what this physical kind of, I guess, embodiment that you are and that you walk on this planet with. It's kind of up to you what you do with it, isn't it? I think I had sort of roles in mind that I physically didn't match up to. So I think when I hit my groove, it was when I started playing vampires. That kind of seemed to work. So I think it's a process, you know, trying to sort of figure out what your assets are and kind of cashing in on that. But yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah, very much similar. Like, I think when I first started acting, I was applying for these, you know, the heroine role, and I never got those, but I'd always get the femme fatale. And then I said to a director, I'm like, why won't you cast me as the main girl? He's like, and he sat me down and he's like, look, you don't look like the girl next door. You look like the, you know, the bad girl or the sexy one. So you should really try to capitalize on that. So I sort of took that on board. And since then, yeah, so I get a lot of those type of roles, the femme fatale or like the bad villain, corporate bitch sort of style. So I guess you just play on your look. And I think it's great now with the additional diversity that's been put into television and media. So it's good that there's a lot more roles for people of colour, especially growing up when there was all, you know, blonde hair, blue eye girls everywhere in Western media. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit more opportunity now.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because in person you're so sweet and so nice.
Oh, thank
and then
you.
when you play these characters, quite often you're the villain. And
Yeah.
I love that about Trish because she's got that duality. You can do both. And we've often talked about that. Like we're often playing a character that's not us.
Well-
It's kind of the other side of us, the polar opposite or something.
Yeah, I think it's very much in balance because in my day life I teach yoga, so I'm always talking about non-violence and compassion, and so having acting as a forum or a sort of safe place to really explore these archetypes of darkness is something really, really powerful and really a really good way to just explore all the different aspects of self, within this life that we can while we're being authentic to ourselves.
I love how you said that because it's kind of like playtime.
Very
And
much so.
It's important to remember that as well. It's like don't take the film too serious. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like you're there to do it for fun and entertainment, and perhaps if it's not, then don't do it. Not you and I, but other people.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Now, let's just see what Esme was all worked up about, shall we?
How do you think acting in Australia compares to the US?
I mean, I've always been aware that you were born in the States, and I've always found like we resonate well together because my style's very American, and I don't sort of shy away from that. So I think vibrationally, we if that's a word, we're
totally a word.
always connected, and I see you as someone that would do really well in LA.
Oh, thank you.
It's your style and it's your place of birth, and that's always been where my sort of interests lie, in the movies I want to make and the people that I aspire to be. I would happily say are American.
Okay.
I don't know how it compares from here to there. Probably just here is cheaper, isn't it, to shoot?
Yeah, so I think there's, I can't say personally because I'm born in the States, but I actually never worked there, so because I grew up in Melbourne. But I think, so not from an experiential level, but just, it would be really good if we had as much funding in Australia for our films and our television as they do in America, so that would be nice.
Yeah, I think geography plays a part, because Melbourne's only got Docklands and Sydney's got Fox, whereas in the States you've got a studio on every block, so it's just multiplied, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, being so cheap over here, like they could sort of put a lot more money into,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
We
hear
need
ya.
as much money in arts as we do in sport.
True.
Amen.
And let's be honest, if you were in LA, you'd probably be flat out. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got that style. That's what I think anyway.
Thank you.
What do you specifically like about working with each other?
Oh, good question.
Ooh.
Do you want me to go first?
Okay.
Or you go first?
Okay. I like I like working with Nathan because it's always fun. I think it's good because with the level of indie, it's sort of a little bit more low key and a little bit more. There's a little bit more room to play around sometimes. So and it's always lots of fun. So.
Yeah, I feel like we've always had heaps of laughs, and the roles as well that we've played with each other, and they're very specific. So
Oh, yes.
we already know what we're going to do, and so we just have fun with it. Yeah, and I think also there's a bit of a freedom with us. Isn't
Yes,
there?
I was gonna say
we like
that.
to elaborate. We don't kind of box ourselves in too much. We keep the process fairly open. So, like for example, with
With the Gweilo,
Gweilo.
like Nathan's really good with collaboration, so he has an idea, but he's quite open to it. So he'll give me the script, but then I can choose a name of character, and then when I come up with different ideas, we can sort of craft the character to be to come to life a little bit better. So and he's very good with taking on board ideas and brainstorming. So I remember once when we were coming before Revenge of the Gweilo when we were preparing to shoot, and I just taught some yoga classes. My feet were really sore, and I was on the phone with Nathan, and I was standing on a tennis ball, so I was fascial rolling my feet. And he goes, "Oh, what do you need?" And I'm like, "I need a foot rub." And he's like, "Okay, we're going to get that in that scene. We're going to have someone rubbing your feet." And so it just sort of catapults from there. Yeah.
Co-actors caring for each other.
Yeah, we've improvised on the day and actually worked it into the movie.
Yeah,
It's
that was perfect.
Incredible. Yeah, but I've always thought, you look really good on screen.
Oh, thank you.
And very, just very precise. Trisha's got a very distinct look, and always, as soon as you turn the camera on, you lock in. That's my experience
thank
as
you.
well. So, and always nailed all the roles.
Oh, thanks.
You know. How'd you feel about Lady Terror? Because that was different, wasn't it? It was much different to Gweilo.
Yes, it was very different, but because coming out of lockdown, it was so low key, you know what I mean? So with Gweilo, because we had everything rehearsed, we had everything locked in, we had rather big casts and crew.
A bit more systematic.
Yeah, so everything had to be a lot tighter. With Lady Terror, it was sort of
A bit
just
more laid back.
very laid back, because it was mainly just, most of the scenes only had a couple of actors in it, and most of them were just the two of us. So
Two-handers,
yeah,
that's true.
so just really chill days. It was-
How did you find, like, because obviously Gweilo, we were kind of playing, good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
But in Terror, it was like the relationship that was on the rocks. How did you sort of compare those two experiences, do you think? Because it was very different, wasn't it?
In a way, but in the similarities that I'm like your female antagonist.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to put it. Yes.
So it doesn't
you're right.
matter the relationship so much, but that's what I found.
It was a shape shift, wasn't it? It was a similar energy in that respect. Interesting.
So-
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, I like that. So what's going on there? We always playing these roles.
I don't
where
know, I
it's-
think it's quite fun.
It's great, isn't it? It's a playtime. It's
Talk about
amazing.
stereotyping.
Yeah.
That's all right, I enjoy playing, I've
Cool,
enjoyed
man.
playing
That's
those roles.
Cool. Yeah, we've done that well, really well.
Is there a project you'd like to do together that hasn't been shot yet?
I think of that script that you were working on, the Kali Geisha Tea House.
Oh, okay.
There was kind of this one project that Trish had in development, and I almost was going to sort of put my hand up. But apart from that, I can't think of anything else from the past. I think we're kind of up to speed at the moment.
Yeah, I think that project, it's as we were discussing earlier, we're just with funding and everything like that, so I don't think I'm going to push forward.
But there
with
was
it
a
at this
nice
point in
little
time.
story in there, though, that we could have.
Oh yeah,
potentially
definitely,
done.
yeah.
But I think there's quite a lot we could probably do anything
Yeah.
at this point. We've done so many scenes, different types of scenes together that have involved kind of just like every range of emotion, haven't we? If you look back, I mean, there's been comedy, there's been action, there's been romance, there's been fights, there's been. I mean, we've kind of done a bit of everything. If you put it together as a show reel, we've kind of done every scene you could almost bloody think of,
Yeah, so
which is really good.
Covered a lot of ground.
Yeah,
so.
so nothing off the top of my head, but if there's a new idea that comes up, I'd totally be on board.
High five for that.
What do you-
Likewise. Good.
Well, I guess now's as good a time to tell you as any. I've met someone.
Oh, that explains it.
Where do you see the local industry going now that everything seems to be moving to streaming?
It is a question, isn't it? Because I was talking to someone the other day about what I do is almost like a dying art, do you know, because everything's like it's all TikTok now, isn't it? It's all it's social media is a beast. It's almost taken over. The attention spans shorter. The sort of indie feature film is I don't think that even in Melbourne they're being made as many. I think that definitely not as many as there were before COVID.
Okay.
You know, I think.
I think my view is probably a little bit different because I think streaming is a great thing because it gives so much more platform to so many artists and filmmakers out there because there's no longer a limitation on time. So things like TikTok, YouTube, you can put out little snippets, little vignettes out there and you don't necessarily have to have the budget or the time to create a feature film. In the past, I used to work in television, and one of the reasons why I left television to go into film was actually because I felt like it was a difference between writing a magazine to writing a novel. So if you look at films will be, there's classic films that, are 30, 40, 50 years old, and they will always be classics and they will always stand the test of time. Some shows can be like that, whereas if you look at like making little TikToks and stuff like that, they might, become viral and for a little while, but still it's like a meme. Do you know what I mean? Like it comes, it goes, and it's gone. It's so I think everything has its place, and I think the more avenues that we have to be able to showcase our art, the better it is.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true though, you're right. Like there's more streaming now than ever before, which has definitely opened up, the ability for filmmakers to showcase their work. I remember even, putting some of my films on a local platform and I was kind of the first to do it out of a group of local filmmakers and they didn't really understand what I was doing and now they all want to do it. They've caught on. So it's definitely a fad and it's definitely it makes it easier to I guess exhibit your work. Yeah. So.
Are you happy with where you are in your careers now, or do you have higher goals, bigger ambitions?
I think it's all about today. Like, I'm happy where I am right now. And I think that because it sounds cliche, but you know, yesterday is gone, today is the now, tomorrow is unknown. You can have your aspirations and your checklist and you know your dreams, goals, etc. But I think it's more about being happy with where you are now, and right now I'd say I am.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, I'm the same. So I think we've always got bigger aspirations, but ultimately, yeah, we could get hit by a bus tomorrow and die, or when crossing the road is leaving this place. So I think it's like, you know, plan like you're going to live forever, but live like today is your last day.
And to steal from Jim Morrison, like, make every show like it was your last.
Yeah, exactly. So.
You know, we go, and Trish and I, that's why we work well together, because we've got the same kind of mantra. Like, when we do it, we go all in. We don't do things half-assed. And that's why we've had the success rate that we do, because in fact, as an actual fact, everything we've ever done has been released. You know, and filmmakers can make a lot of films that don't get released, and most, you know, filmmakers you meet will have projects that aren't released. So the fact that anything we touch has kind of been released says a lot about us working together.
I've worked on a couple of films that were released.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I even tried to, I think,
I
save
know,
one of them.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I think that's a real skill and I guess achievement that we've had together. You know, that says a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for
Absolutely.
me it's more of just about enjoying what we're doing, what I'm doing, you know what I mean, every moment. And I'm just doing it till if I stopped enjoying it, I think I'd stop doing it. So.
Yeah, it's like anything, isn't it? If you're not, then you just don't do it.
Exactly.
You know, but do you think you're getting a bit more choosy as you get
Oh,
further
definitely,
into it? 'Cause I
definitely,
think so.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Because especially coming out
Time.
of lockdown, you realise that time is your most precious resource. And now it's just really only working on things that
That
are.
are really going to resonate.
Yep, exactly.
100%. You're right. It's ticking clock, and you know, we're all aging one day at a time. So we want, you know, it's true. You've got to think ahead. Do you know what I mean? I don't think a lot of people do. I mean, even when I make a movie, I'm always working backwards. People say, "Oh, how did you do that so seamlessly?" And I, you know, because I'm working backwards.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, day 3, someone walks on set and it's their first day, and I know I'm going to shoot 20 days. I'm thinking about day 20. I'm not thinking about day 3, essentially. So working back. You know, I guess not taking things for granted. You know, being in the moment, but also having the structure and the goal to complete the work as well. Yeah.
Yeah, what a great note to end on. Nathan, Trish, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to talk with us today.
Thank you
It's
for
all right,
having
thanks
us.
for having us.
It's been great. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.